earlier, today for our lesson 6.5, we're actually going to be solving two-step number stories. So our word problems now, instead of just having us do one thing, like add both numbers together or subtract both of the numbers, this time we're going to have more than one thing to do. Maybe we're going to add 2 times, subtract 2 times, or even add and subtract. So we're going to work through some number stories together that have more than one step to decide what we need to do to be able to solve these problems. So on page 150 in your book, 150, at the very top of the page it says, do the following for each number story. So for each number story or word problem, we are going to write a number model or number models. So we may have to write more than one math problem for each one. And we're going to use a question mark to show the number that we need to find. So we're going to show that mystery number with a question mark. Now it says to help us, we can draw total and parts diagrams, change to more, change to less diagrams, or we can do the quantity difference diagram, or don't forget, you can do an open number line and you can do base 10 shorthand. Even though they don't put those in our books, I'm always going to say those are great options to choose from, okay? So let's look at number 1 together and let's see if we can figure out how we can solve this problem. Number 1 says, on Monday, Annabelle had 9 shells. On Tuesday, she found 12 more. On Wednesday, she gave 4 to her aunt. How many shells does Annabelle have now? So let's just look at the first 2 sentences that we have in this number story. Let's create a number model or a math problem just from those first 2 sentences, okay? So the first 2 sentences say, on Monday, Annabelle had 9 shells. On Tuesday, she found 12 more. What kind of number model or math problem do you think we should use for those 2? Are we going to add those 2 numbers together? Are we going to subtract those 2 numbers? What do you think, Kaden?
I guess subtract. Plus.
Okay, you just gave me 2 different answers, so which one do you want to go with? Adding or subtracting? Why do you think we're going to add them? Support your reasoning.
Because the 2 numbers in the first add.
Did they tell us to add the first 2 numbers together? Did it say add your first 2 numbers together? So why do you think that we need to add them? Are there any other word clues that we could use in the first 2 sentences that might tell us that we want to add the 2 numbers together? It said on Monday Annabelle had 9 shells. On Tuesday she found 12 more. Are there any word clues in those first 2 sentences that might tell us we want to add the numbers together? Okay, you're shaking your head. What word clues?
She found 9 shells on Tuesday, and she found 12 more on Wednesday.
On Tuesday, she found 12 more. She found 9 on Monday. On Tuesday, she found 12 more. It tells us that she found more. Timothy, stay on the page we need to be on. So if we are finding more than what we had to start with, we need to add those 2 numbers together. So our first number model would look like this. Oops, not if I don't have my pen. 9 plus 12 equals question mark. Do we know how many that's going to be just yet? No. So that's why we need to make sure, Landon, that we're writing down this number model with our question mark. Now we need to solve that one first. So figure out what the answer is to 9 plus 12. You can use base 10 shorthand. You can use mental math. You can use an open number line. Let's see if we can figure out then, between Monday and Tuesday, how many shells did she end up finding altogether? She found 9 on Monday. She found 12 more on Tuesday. So between those 2 days, how many shells did she have? We're working on solving the problem now, Logan. I'll give you about 10-ish more seconds to figure out how many shells she had together between Monday and Tuesday.
I'm going to think like 21.
All right, so on Monday and Tuesday, she found 9 shells and 12 more shells. So, Angelina, how many shells did she end up finding on those 2 days?
21.
21 shells, okay? So far, between Monday and Tuesday, she has 21 shells. Now, though, on Wednesday, she gave 4 to her aunt. How many shells does she have now? Now, what kind of number model do we want to do with the numbers that we have? Do we want to add the numbers together? Do we want to subtract the numbers? What do you think, Levi?
We should subtract.
Why do you think we should subtract? Support your reasoning.
We should subtract because she gave some away.
That's a fantastic answer, Levi. She gave some away. So when you give something away, you have less of it, right? Now, Levi, tricky brain question. You ready?
Yep.
What should I be subtracting from?
21.
Yes. Good job, Levi. Why am I subtracting from 21? Gwen?
Because it was the number that we ended up with.
Right. It's the number she had on Monday and Tuesday, right? And then on Wednesday, she gave 4 of them away. So our next number model should look like this. We're going to start with the 21 that she had on those 2 days, and we're going to take away the 4 that she gives to her aunt to figure out how many she ends up having now. So now your job is to be writing this number model down, Timothy, not playing with a pencil, writing the number model down with the mystery number question mark, and figure out, solve it, use a strategy to figure out how many does she have now. A little bit closer there, Jake.
I know that number.
Thanks, buddy. Remember, you can use your mental math. If you're still relying on looking at the number line or number grid in the classroom, don't be doing that anymore. Either do it in your head or use one of our strategies with open number line and base on shorthand, because those you won't even have the number line hanging in the ceiling next year. There will be absolutely no number lines or number grids. So it's time to start getting used to using a different kind of strategy than using the number lines and number grids. Right, Jamie? Okay, so let's not keep looking at the number line that's up here. Use a different strategy. All right, so if she had 21 shells and she gave 4 away to her aunt, then Logan, how many shells would she have left?
She would have,
What did you get as your answer?
17.
She would have 17 shells. Now, Logan, what strategy did you use to solve that last problem?
I used base 10 shorthand.
Okay, so you made 21 with base 10 shorthand, but then you probably found you couldn't take 4 away from that, right? So what did you have to do?
Well, at first I added them, and then after I did it again, and then I did the subtraction after I did the adding.
Right, but when you got this 21, could you subtract from this?
No, so
No.
I took one of the 10s away, and I made it 10 more ones, and then I crossed out 4.
Right, fantastic. And then when you cross out 4, you will find that you have 17 left. Okay, awesome sauce. Now, let's do another one. Let's try number 2. Yvette here has some balloons. Yvette bought 25 red balloons and 15 white balloons for a party. During the party, 8 balloons popped. How many balloons did she have left when the party ended? So let's figure out what we need to do first in this math problem between the first 2 sentences. Yvette bought 25 red balloons and 15 white balloons for a party. What should we do with those 2 numbers? What do you think, Jamie? What should we do with those 2 numbers?
Add.
Why do you think we should add them? Support your reasoning. Hold on a second, Jamie. Who do you need, Mrs. R? That's okay.
Logan?
Yep, go ahead, Logan. All right, so Jamie, you said something about the first two numbers? No, you actually do want to add, and this is the reason why, Kaden, that you want to add them together. Kaden, it would really benefit you to be paying attention because when you're doing your word problems for your homework, you're not getting them correct. So I would suggest you start paying attention so that you can start looking for these word clues so that you know how to do the homework and then also the test correctly, okay? It'd be a really good idea to start paying attention to them. It says she bought this many red balloons and this many white balloons. So she bought a group and another group for the party. So we want to put them together because she bought both kinds. So we do want to add the first two numbers, 25 plus 15, and now we need to figure out how many did she buy. So she bought 25 red balloons and 15 white balloons. Use your strategy to figure out your mystery number. Also make sure you have your number model, your math problem with the question mark in it, because that's what we're looking for. So how many balloons does Yvette have at the beginning of the party? Valerie, how many does she have at the beginning of the party? 40. She has 40 balloons. She has 25 white ones, 25 red ones and 15 white ones. So she starts out with 40 balloons. Now, however, during the party, 8 of those balloons pop. So, what do I want to do now with my number model, David? What do I want to do now with my number story?
Now you must subtract it and get a balloon pop.
Right, and I want to start with what number to subtract it from.
40.
Right, I've got to take the 40 balloons that I have and subtract the 8 balloons that popped to figure out how many balloons does she have left when the party ends. So there's my last mystery number. How many balloons does she have left when the party ends? Make sure you're writing down this math problem with the mystery number. And then use a strategy to figure out how many balloons does she have left. Remember, you can use base 10 shorthand, open number line, mental math. Jamie, do you have a question?
Is there a 5 in the, there is 5 in the base 10?
No, there is not a 5 in base 10 shorthand. Base 10 shorthand is 10s and 1s. Great, Jake. I like that strategy. Nice job. We have hundreds, 10s, and 1s in our base 10 shorthand. So we have longs and cubes, okay? All right, so how many balloons does she have left when the party ends, Alina?
32.
She has 32 balloons left. If you start with 40 balloons, 10, 20, 30, 40, and you take 8 of them away, which means I need to turn one of these into 10 so that I can take 8 away. Oops, let me change my color here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I will see that I have 10, 20, 32 balloons left over. Questions on that one? All right, now, this has been pretty simple because this has been an add and then a subtract. Another add and then a subtract. But presto changeo, it's not always going to be that way. Dun, dun, dun. Let's look at number 3. On the next page, on page 151, there is a number 3. If I can turn to page 151. Okay. We have Tommy. Tommy's playing a board game with his sister. On his first turn, he earned 15 points. On his second turn, he lost 7 points. On his third turn, he earned 12 points. Now, how many points does he have? How many points does he have now? So, what are we going to do with the first two numbers in this problem? Tommy is playing a board game with his sister. On his first turn, he earned 15 points. On his second turn, he lost 7 points. What do we want to do with those two numbers first, Timothy?
We want to first add them.
Why would we want to add those two numbers? Support your reasoning.
Wait,
What clue is telling you we want to add them?
hold on. What was that again?
I'll read the first 3 sentences, and then you can tell me what we're going to do with these numbers. Tommy is playing a board game with his sister. On his first turn, he earned 15 points. On his second turn, he lost 7 points.
We're subtracting.
Why do you think subtracting? Support your reasoning.
Because we have 15 and then we're going to subtract 7.
But why do we want to subtract? What words in those sentences told us we want to subtract the numbers instead of add them? What are our clue words? What did he do with those 7 points? What happened with them?
We lost them.
Yeah, he lost them. So think in your mind, your brain already knows, hey, if I lose something, it means it's not there anymore, right? So we're going to start with 15. Oh, not if I don't have my pen. We're going to start with 15, and we're going to take 7 away to figure out how many points did he have after that. We're on number 3, Logan, okay? So do that part first. Start at 15, take 7 away. Kinsley, I appreciate you joining us. We're almost actually done with math, so I'm going to have another math lesson for you to do in a little bit since you missed most of it, okay? We only started a couple minutes late, but I do appreciate that you joined us. But I want to let you know I'm going to put it into Seesaw for you to work on, okay? Because there's other things I'm going to want you to work on since you missed the beginning of our lesson. All right, so if we started at 15 points, Tommy had 15 points, and then he lost 7 of them, then how many points would he have had, Landon? He would have had 8 points, okay? So now he has 8 points, and on his third turn, he earned 12 points. So he had 8 points at the end of his second turn, and on his third turn, he had 12 points. How many points does he have now? What do we want to do, Caden, with those two numbers? Yes, that's what I'm asking you. At the end of his second turn, he had 8 points. Now, on his third turn, he earned 12 points. And we want to figure out how many points does he have now. So what do we want to do with those two numbers?
Subtract them.
Okay, support your reasoning. Why do we want to subtract them? Okay, we want to add them instead? Okay, support your reasoning. Why do we want to add them? What kind of clue words tell us we want to either add or subtract? He had 8 points at the end of his second turn. And then on his third turn, he earned 12 points. How many points does he have now? What kind of clues do we have that tell us that we want to add those two numbers or subtract those two numbers? Levi, help us out here. What kind of clues?
8 plus 12.
But why 8 plus 12? What kind of clues? Peyton, it'd be a good idea to pay attention.
Because we got 8, and then we got 12.
But why do we know we have 12 more? How do we know we have 12 more?
Because he earned.
There you go. Thank you. He
12
earned
points.
them. When you earn something, it means you get it. Who do we need, Angelina?
Derek.
Okay, Derek, head on down to Miss R real quick. when we earn something, we get it, right? You earn dojo points, it means you get dojo points. You earn money, you get money. You earn a prize, you get a prize, and you means you need to get it. So we have to add it to what we have. So he had 8 points. He earned 12 points. Now how many points does he have? So how many points would he have at the end of that game? Use a strategy. Base center hand, open number line. Landon, we're not playing in our desks. How many points does he have at the end of that game? Logan, did you get it written down?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure that you have it written down because I don't necessarily see your... Oh, okay. So how many points does Tommy have, Logan, now that he has won the game, or at the end of the game?
He has 20.
He has 20 points. He started with 8. He counted 12 more. He should have 20 points. Great, Jake. Thank you. Okay. Your job now is to do number 4.